Good day, YouTube. Today is the 19th of May. It's 2018 is the year. And we're in the kitchen today here at Glenn's Speed Shop channel. I'm a big cast iron skillet guy, big cast iron Dutch oven guy. I'm a big guy. And this morning at a yard sale for a whole $6, I picked up a cute little 8-inch Dutch oven. Never been used, but inside she's a little rusty. I started the process to cleaning this, and I thought, why don't I show y'all how we do it? Hang on a second, let me backtrack a tad. I'll get to that in a second. I'll show you the inside of this this Dutch oven. Just a bunch of surface rust going on in there. And I'm going to show you guys how to clean this up and make this a perfectly usable Dutch oven. We could make dinner in this tonight. Okay, don't be scared of this. This is nothing. I've cleaned up 10 times worse than this, and it'll work. So what I've got, I've got a big history of cleaning these up upstairs in my barn here. I've got a 16-gallon tote full of a 50-50 mix of white vinegar and water, and I've used that same mixture for years. I've cleaned and seasoned hundreds of pieces of cast iron out of that same vat of white vinegar and water. So we're just going to mix it up in this Dutch oven. I poured about half of this little bottle. It's a pint. So half a pint and about a half a pint of water. I poured it in here, and I thought I was going to show you all. So we're just going to pour it in the skillet. Make sure it gets on all of the rust on the sides. We'll just get our fingers in there, and it ain't going to hurt you none. And we're going to let this soak for a few hours, okay? White vinegar, water, 50-50 mix. We're going to soak this surface rust off in a few hours. We're going to come back and clean this skillet. We're going to season this skillet. And this thing could be in your oven making dinner tonight. I love these little skillets. It's a great size. Fantastic for camping. We have a couple of these, and they're in the campers now. We have a vintage camper and a modern camper. And we have a couple of these, but they're so hard to get, these nice little sizes. This is nothing special. It's not branded or anything. Who knows who made it, where it was made. But the finish is fairly smooth for a modern Dutch oven. The vintage Dutch oven's always going to be a better finish than the new ones. But as far as new ones go, this one's pretty good. So, really worth fixing. Really worth restoring. Has no use, no chips. The lid fits good. Be sure the lids fit good. If they don't, they just let heat out. And what good is an oven that lets heat out? Not much. Okay, this is going to be a dandy. It's a $6 Dutch oven, and we're going to turn it into a $30 Dutch oven that's going to be ready for dinner tonight. We'll check back with it in a few hours as that vinegar kind of loosens up that rust, and we'll get her cleaned up. Well, it's been quite a few hours, probably 4 or 5 hours, and here's our victim. You can see the rust is actually suspended in the vinegar and water. It didn't get as much up the sides as I'd like to, but I think it's going to clean up okay. So I'll put you back in the stand. We'll take this to the next step. And hang on a second. It's hard to get everything in the view, including myself. So what we'll do right now, let's just dump this back into this container. Certainly reusable if you've got more to do. I'll probably just take it upstairs and add it to my big vat. The next step is table salt and any kind of cooking oil. Yeah. And the oil's going to get into the cast iron. Let's just rinse this out real quick. And then we're going to just take a paper towel. Let me move this out of the way now and just dry it out. Now, what we have is what is called virgin cast iron. You can see the mess it has pulled, which means it's going to rust as you watch, depending on how much humidity in the air, if it's raining outside, etc., etc. So we're just going to wipe this out best we can. And we need to get oil in it right away. So there we go. Looks pretty good. Throw this away. And let's get some oil in it. This is just canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever. You're going to burn off the oil anyway eventually when we throw it in the oven later. The oil will help to season it. The salt is your abrasive to clean it. Okay, so the rest of that rust will be gone. We're just going to fold up a paper towel. This is going to fall apart. If you've got an old rag or something, that actually work better. But this is how we roll. So you're just scrubbing it as if you were using Comet on the kitchen sink. You can hear the salt digging in. It's getting in the pores. It's getting that rust out of there. And whatever else is in there. Just like a scouring pad. Woohoo! Alright, we're going to rinse it out, and then we're going to do it again until it's clean. Really getting that oil in there. Okay, I'm going to rinse this out real quick. Then we'll get to see what it looks like. And we're back. Let's wipe it out. See how good we did. Yucky. Yucky, yucky. Not bad. Not bad. I'm going to show you close up, and then we're going to do it one more time with just oil. So there she is. It actually came out pretty decent. So let's just rinse it out now, or wipe it out now with just oil. Oil's going to be your cleaner here. Just get all that stuff out of there. It'll keep it from rusting too. We'll finish this video up tomorrow, or we'll put it in the oven. I don't have time to put it in the oven tonight. And season it. And then I'll give you some of my other tricks that I have learned over the years on how to really make these, non-stick. Okay, it's getting lots cleaner. And you're just going to wipe it out. You'll probably always get something on your paper towel, but it's not too bad now. It's actually in really good shape. We're going to just put a little oil on the outside so nothing rusts overnight. Because we'll come back and finish this up tomorrow. For you, it'll be just a second. So there she is. She's all oiled up. It's not going to rust on us overnight. We'll finish this seasoning process up tomorrow and end the video there. So nice little oven. Nice little oven. Okay, we'll be back in a bit. Hey, it's the next day. We're back to finish up our restoration of this cute little 8-inch Dutch oven. I know I've called it a skillet a million times. Sorry about that. It happens. So to start off with, we'll just recap what we've done. Bought this little guy at a yard sale. I don't know if it's never been used. Therefore, it was never really well seasoned. Therefore, it rusted fairly easily. A lot of surface rust in the bottom and along the sides on the inside. So we soaked it out in a 50-50 mixture of white vinegar and water. We just poured a little bit in the bottom, maybe about a half a pint of vinegar and a half a pint, maybe a little more of water. We let it soak for 4 or 5 hours. I was in there a couple of times and just kind of whooshed everything around, made sure it was getting on the sides and everything. It's nice if you could submerge it, but for this video, we just poured a little bit in there. So we dumped it out. We could reuse it in another restoration project if we wanted to. Then we used just some canola oil and some regular table salt, and we use that like an abrasive on the inside to clean it. Then we rinsed it out, and then we put the oil back in there, and we kind of wiped it out a little bit with a paper towel until the paper towels become fairly clean. Now all we're going to do is wipe this down with more oil, and we're going to wipe the whole oven down. So we did it yesterday on the inside, but we're going to season it now. So let's just pour a little bit of oil on this thing. We'll just use a paper towel and wipe down the whole oven. Now we're going to stick it in the oven and get a season on it. And the whole idea of what we're doing in the oven, we're going to cook this thing, literally cook it for an hour at 375, 400 degrees, depending on your oven. Put it on the middle rack. I got a little bit of rust on this lid. It'll come right off. And basically it's going to burn away the oil, and it's going to leave the carbon. A lot of controversy on the internet. Everybody will tell you that their type of oil is best. It all works pretty good. People say use Crisco. There's commercial oils available. Probably Lodge and Camp Chef probably make their own seasoning oils, and I'm sure they're all just fine. Use what you want. Basically, the oil's going to burn away anyway, and we're just going to leave the carbon, which is what gives cast iron its nice black appearance. So, just get some of the excess off the lid. Get the bottom. Get the legs. It's not so critical on the outside of these things, but we're trying to make them look nice too, right? Trying to give it a finish that won't rust and it looks good. I've kind of got a passion for cast iron. I use it when we do cook, especially when we're camping and stuff. And although I think a lot of my cast irons do for a kind of refurbishment, because I use the heck out of it, but I do try to take care of it and be somewhat proud of it. So we have it all wiped down. Now let me wipe this off my hands. And then we need to put it in the oven. So in my shop, this isn't my house, by the way, this is my shop, where I have a 1910, this is a Monarch wood-burning cook stove, fully functional, fully connected. Yeah, I use that a lot, but we're not going to build a fire today. So when I don't want to build a fire, or it's hot outside or something, then I have a propane stove. So let's put it in the oven. We're going to run the temperature to about 400 degrees, and we're going to put it on the middle rack. Okay. Now, we're not going to place it right side up. We're going to place it upside down, so it doesn't puddle on the inside. And yes, everything is going to cook off of it. Some of it's going to drip down in your oven. This is why I have an oven like this at my shop, because my wife says no more cast iron in my oven at home, because remember, I used to do hundreds of these. So we're set at 400 degrees. I would recommend that when you do your cast iron, well ventilate your kitchen. Do them 1 or 2 pieces at a time. Run it for about an hour, but check it at about 45 minutes or so. It is going to smoke, okay? It's going to make your kitchen smell funny for a little while, but the results are worth it. So we're going to let this cook for about an hour. We'll come back and we'll look at the finished product. Be right back. Well, shall we see if she's done yet? Actually, I came in after about an hour and I shut the oven off. And something I didn't mention before, but I meant to, is I don't recommend preheating the oven and putting the Dutch oven in, or shutting the oven off and then taking it right out. Those extreme temperature rises or falls could have an adverse effect on cast iron because it, it grows when it's heated. So this has been cooling off for a while now. Still very hot. Yeah. So let's take it out and see what we got. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. Ooh, still warm though. Let's get a close-up here, show you what we got. Now, if you like your cast iron a little darker, now's your opportunity to take the steps that we just did and do them again. I got a little bit of that's like paper towel fragments in there. Don't worry about that, it'll clean right out. So this has a nice black finish. We still got a little bit of oil on the top because remember we cooked it. The inside of the lid was down. This is where it all counts. So we've got a nice finish on this thing. It's certainly ready for use. I'll decide today if I want to give this thing another shot. Just oil it back up, throw it back in the oven at 400 degrees for another hour. Again, the inside down so that all the residual rolls out of there. You can see my nice dirty oven because this is the way we roll out here. But other than that, it's really pretty good to go. The last thing that I always recommend, whether you're doing skillets, Dutch ovens, or chicken fryers, that deep skillet, they are my most favorite. I love chicken fryers. As soon as you get them seasoned like this, go get you some real inexpensive bacon and cook some bacon. Cook it slow, without a lot of heat, and cook it long. Cook it nice and crispy. Because just that process alone gives this thing a season that really will last and last. Now, quick tip on care of your cast iron. Don't ever put it in the dishwasher. Don't ever use soap on it. Cast iron is porous. It'll always retain the flavors of foods you have cooked in the past. That's the way cast iron is, and you don't want the flavor of soap in your soup. Okay? Don't go there. So, boil it out. Clean it out best you can, and then boil it out just with water on the stove. Wipe it out. Paper towels is what I use. There's begadle rags or whatever. And then oil it. And then store it, okay? If you're going to store it for a long time, roll up a paper towel, lay it inside, lay it over the edge, put the lid on it, and that way it will breathe just a little bit. Then when you go to use it again, if it's been a while, boil some water in it. Or throw it in the oven like we just did and cook it for an hour or so, okay? If it's been there for a while and say the oil, you could sense that the oil's gone a little rancid or something, just cook it out, okay? That's it. That's care of your little Dutch oven. This is the cutest little 8-inch oven. I love these things. Obviously, can't see what I'm doing. The bail's in the way over there a little bit. Needs a little adjusting. There we go. Nice tight lid. If you're looking at ovens, check the lid fit. Even if they're brand new, they could be off a little bit. Find one that fits better. And there we go. It's just the cutest little 8-incher. And she is ready for cooking dinner. Thank you guys for watching, comment, and subscribe, and share my videos if you would, please. Hit the bell and be alerted if I have some new videos posted, which we try to post a video or two every week. And we'll see you on the next one.